When we think about vices, we usually see them as just, well, destructive, right? But what if there's more to it? What if they play some kind of hidden role in how a community works? Today, we're jumping into the world of the novel, The Virtue of Vices, to see how that plays out in this small, complicated college town called White River City. And we're starting right in the middle of the action. Picture this. Sirens are blaring, and then you hear that one frantic voice just cutting through all the noise at the university mall. It's a moment of pure, raw panic, the kind of moment that just tears a town's peaceful image completely apart. So, this is our setting, White River City. It's home to Princeton University, and on the surface, it looks like your typical, sleepy college town. But a shooting has just blown that whole illusion to bits. And here's the thing. This act of violence isn't just a random tragedy. Oh no, it's more like an earthquake that's exposing all the hidden cracks that have been building up just beneath the surface for a long, long time. All right, so to really get what makes this town tick, we've got to look at what's happening behind closed doors. This is where you see the difference between the public faces people put on and the secret lives they're really living when they think no one's watching. And at the heart of so much of this deception, it's that old poison, jealousy. It's an emotion that does more than just start fights. In White River City, it's like a venom that seeps into the foundations of relationships, twisting them into something you can't even recognize. Let's see how. Take a guy like Officer Grant Carroll. Out on the street, he's the hero, the first responder running headfirst into this absolute nightmare at the mall. But when he gets home, he's a completely different person, a man just crumbling under the weight of all that trauma, while his wife Maria is constantly accusing him of cheating. Their home has become a total war zone. And this is where you really see that two-faced nature of the town. You've got Maria Carroll, who is absolutely consumed by the idea that her husband is unfaithful. But that very same suspicion is what's fueling her own secret. She escapes by becoming this online persona, Latin Goddess 94, performing for total strangers. It's a whole other life that Grant has absolutely no clue about. Now, this kind of private secret, it doesn't just stay behind closed doors, right? It festers, and it spreads. The anger that's simmering in homes like the Carrolls is starting to spill out into the open, and it's creating these huge public fights that are tearing the whole town apart. And the fuel for this public fire? It's bigotry. We're not just talking about people disagreeing here. We're talking about a real deep-seated contempt for anyone who thinks differently, and it is whipping up an ideological storm all across White River City. And where's ground zero for this storm? A local right-wing radio show. See, the Leon Johnaway show isn't really about having a conversation. The host's whole strategy is to basically throw two people with opposite views into a ring together and just let them go at it. He knows it's going to create a shouting match, and that's exactly what gets him ratings. So you hear one guest, and you can just feel the raw emotion in her voice as she's talking about gun rights. This isn't some calm academic debate. It's a desperate, passionate plea for someone to do something. And then, bam, the other side comes right back at him. Just as passionate, just as convinced they're right. It's not a discussion, it's a head-on collision of two completely different realities. And it's being broadcast for the entire town to hear, just digging that divide even deeper. So we've got the public battles, right? But the fights in White River City aren't just out in the open, on the airwaves. Some of the biggest struggles are the ones happening inside people's own heads. These private, all-consuming obsessions. The vice we're talking about here is fixation. This is when one single idea or one person becomes so incredibly important that it just eclipses everything else in your life. Your friends, your future, your own potential. Let me paint you a picture of how this plays out. You've got Amanda, who is completely obsessed with this musician she's never even met. Then there's her friend Brittany, a star athlete who feels like she's missing out, who has this amazing chance encounter with a guy named Nick Stone. There's a real spark, but it's immediately extinguished because Amanda's fixation literally pulls Brittany away from this potential new beginning and drags her to a rock concert instead. A perfect tragic example of wasted potential. Okay, so this is where it all starts to come together, and this is the crucial part of the novel. None of these stories, the private secrets, the public anger, the personal obsessions, none of them are happening in a vacuum. They're all threads in this huge invisible web, and they're all dangerously tangled up with each other. And now we're going to see what that web looks like. And you'll never guess where a lot of these threads connect. A weekly poker game.
Seriously. It's in Dr. Graham's basement, and it basically serves as the town's secret crossroads, a place where paths that probably should never cross end up intersecting in a big way.
Just think about who's sitting at this table. You've got a dad whose gambling problem is ruining his family, a dirty cop who's connected to all the powerful people in the city, a husband who's betting the lottery money that could have changed his family's life, and a magician. 4 totally separate lives, all in one room. Their futures now tied to the turn of a single card.
And it all comes to a head on one single chaotic Friday night. You've got 3 different scenes playing out at the exact same time across the city. While Lee is going all in at that poker game, Amanda's obsession is hitting a dangerous peak at the Holidays Club. And at the very same moment, Paul's daughter Lori is just trying to have a normal slumber party, totally clueless about the invisible threads connecting her own life to all this unfolding chaos.
So that leaves us with the big one, the question the whole story is asking. When you have a town that's built on this incredibly complex web of secrets and obsessions, and that web finally snaps, who's really to blame? Is it just the one person who commits the final terrible act? Or does everyone who contributed their own little private vice share a piece of the responsibility?